2016 presidential candidates are shifting their attention to New Hampshire for next week's first-in-the-nation primary. The convention center is just opening its doors for job seekers all over the city of Syracuse. With more than 200 businesses looking to fill out about 5,000 jobs.
I've been to many of these hiring events. This is the biggest one that I've ever been to personally.
Colin Burnell from the State Department of Labor says this year's Syracuse Career Expo is the biggest one so far.
The demand was there. The businesses were looking to hire.
And job seekers are looking to occupy these positions. While here, they have the chance to apply for these positions and even interview for some of them.
The economy here is improving. These businesses are looking to hire. They're looking to bring people on board. They're looking to pay people. So why wouldn't we facilitate this kind of career event?
Tables full of job opportunities wasn't the only thing they facilitated. Staff from the Department of Labor are serving as translators to help residents like Lázaro who aren't fluent in English.
Application?
Yes, perfect. So if you fill that out and then give it to us, we'll consider it.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Hello.
Now, for job seekers like Lázaro, what's left to do is wait and hope that today's job hunt pays off. 27 years ago, 31% of millennials used to have retirement savings. That is not the case anymore. Now more millennials have retirement savings. 41% of millennials nowadays save up to $13,000 every year towards their retirement. The Panama Papers are still causing headaches to world leaders involved in this massive leak of documents that links them to secret companies and offshore tax havens. New York Senator Chuck Schumer is joining the fight over replacing the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. The Supreme Court said that the Second Amendment's right to bear arms does not extend to stun guns. With a ribbon-cutting ceremony, Syracuse International Airport kicks off the opening of its first TSA PreCheck application center. For residents like Corinne, signing up for the TSA PreCheck program is just the first step to all the trips she plans to enjoy in a near future.
I recently retired. Now I have the freedom to travel. The reason I wanted to get the TSA PreCheck is I have an adult son who's 28 who travels a lot. And if I travel with him, I thought it would be convenient that if he had the pre-check and I didn't, we wouldn't be able to go through security together.
Besides the convenience this service can present to travelers boarding domestic flights,
TSA PreCheck customers, they go up to the checkpoint, they don't have to take off their shoes, they don't have to take off a light jacket, they don't have to take the computer out of the computer case or the bag, and they don't have to take out the 311, the liquids, aerosols, 3 ounces.
The TSA PreCheck program also eases the job of TSA workers at airports.
It allows TSA employees to apply their attention to those individuals who have not signed up for TSA PreCheck and are part of a known and trusted traveler population.
When visiting the center, applicants need to provide required documentation, fingerprints, and pay $85 for a 5-year membership. Once approved, applicants can officially skip security screenings on particular trips. Reporting live from the Syracuse International Airport, Nicola Acevedo, NCC News. Many Puerto Rican voters in the island tend to participate in presidential primaries because it's the only chance they get to voice their opinion on who gets to be their commander-in-chief. And even with this year's low voter turnout, these Puerto Ricans managed to make a difference on Marco Rubio's campaign. Marco Rubio's campaign gained huge momentum after his win in Puerto Rico, taking over 23 delegates to back him up at the Republican Party's National Convention this summer. But voter turnout was significantly lower this year.
Puerto Rico has one of the highest voter turnout rates in the Western Hemisphere, so this is not typical of the island.
About 34,000 Puerto Ricans in the island voted on Sunday's primary, while back in 2012, a whopping 126,000 Puerto Ricans showed up to the voting booths.
Not voting is voting.
Says this graduate student from Louisiana who's working on her PhD in political science.
If you sit home, you're making a choice, and you are voting by abstaining. And I think they should consider that and think about what happens if you let other people speak for you. And I would encourage people not to do that. Even if they're not participating in the general, it sends a message. If you called the Rubio campaign right now, they wouldn't tell you Puerto Rico doesn't matter.
Voters in Puerto Rico and other U.S. territories can't participate in the electoral process.
The Constitution explicitly allocates electoral college votes by state, and so if you're not a state government, there is no provision in the Constitution that allows the allocation of electoral college votes to that territory.
However, there are no rules in the Constitution that tells political parties how to choose their presidential candidates.
The parties have voluntarily made a decision to allow those folks to vote in the primary elections.
As explained by Professor Keck, U.S. territory residents are allowed to vote in primaries because political parties made that decision, and they don't get to vote in general elections because the American Constitution excludes U.S. territories from the electoral process. U.S. territory residents could only have full voting rights if they are incorporated as states or if the Constitution is amended to allow more representation. But instead of waiting for this, many Puerto Ricans have declared residency here in the United States and vote for the president. But by doing this, they give up their right to participate in Puerto Rico's election.